Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JAFM Audio. Opening day is just 4 days away for the
Oh
New
yes.
York Mets.
Oh yes.
The New York Mets, with a couple of new faces this year, the main one being Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited about this season. I got to be honest with you. We're going to go over the Mets roster. We're going to go over the starting lineup. We're going to go over their starting pitching, their bullpen, and where do we think they would stand.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited this year. A lot of Met fans coming out of the woodworks, repping their team loud and proud. A lot of new fans now, considering the acquisition of Juan Soto.
That's okay. We have a lot of room.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys do.
Yep.
Let's get straight into it. Let's talk about their what do you want to do? Lineup or the
No, I
pitching
want to bring
rotation?
something up first.
Oh, okay.
Pecota. You want
Oh,
to take
okay,
a
yeah.
guess? Do
Yeah,
you
let's
want to
look.
take a guess how many wins Pecota has the Mets predicted to win?
Well, let's ask them, guys. Take a guess. We'll give you 3 seconds. Three, two, one. Let us know.
91. I like
Ooh.
it. I like it. I like it.
Ooh.
So there's only a couple of teams that they're predicting to have more wins than
Not
our New
even the
York Mets.
most in the National League.
Oh, okay. You got the
Not even the
Dodgers there.
most.
Yeah. Guess how many wins
Not even the
Pecota?
second most.
Guess how many wins Pecota's projecting?
Four.
No, for the Dodgers. 100.
Yeah, yeah, ridiculous. 104 wins.
104 wins. Okay. Atlanta Braves, 92 wins. That
Mhm.
makes sense. Cubs, 91 and a half wins. Do you see the Cubs winning 91 games?
They're shocking me, honestly. We'll see. I don't know. I really don't know. I really can't call it.
Okay. And coming in fourth in the National League for the most wins would be the New York Mets. Your very own New York Metropolitans.
Do you think that's a bit low?
No.
You think that's right spot on?
I think that's it. I don't know if it's spot on. I would like for it to be. I mean, I would like for it to be more.
You think it's like a little too high?
No, I listen. You know what? There's a lot of talk going on about how the Mets got approved. They got Soto, but they still. I don't think they're
Yeah,
the best team in the National League East. I don't think they're the second. They could very well be the third best team.
I mean,
Let me tell you,
we're gonna touch on it later, but I think pitching is still a bit of an issue for them.
pitching is an issue. But you know what? Here's the thing. All right. Last year in the playoffs, we went up against the Phillies and we beat them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we put the beats on them. Okay.
Yeah.
And they had a good bullpen and they bought their bullpen and they tried everything with us. They couldn't get our hitters out. Okay. The Atlanta Braves, not even healthy, 100% healthy. Ronald Acuna Jr. is not going to be in that Brave lineup for the first couple of months. So all this talk about, well, the Mets got to prove that they can beat the Braves and the Mets got to prove that they can beat the Phillies. No, you know what? The Phillies got to prove that they can beat the Mets this year because we've already proved that we can beat them. We
Yeah.
beat Schwarber, we beat Harper, we beat Castellanos,
Trey Turner,
Trey Turner. We beat them.
Yeah.
They threw their best at us. They threw Zach Wheeler. They threw Suarez. They threw their best bullpen. They had their best lineup out there, and we beat them. And we beat them convincingly. So when people talk about the Mets are not the best team in the National League East, they're not even they may just be the third best team in the National League. You know what? You can make the case with Atlanta because the Braves every year have a great roster. They know what they're doing over there. But don't come and tell me that the Phillies, the Mets got to prove they can beat the Phillies. We already proved it. Now they have to prove they can beat us.
I still think the Mets still do need to prove it, only because last year no one expected them to have the season they had. All right, they made the playoffs. They went on this incredible run. You could almost call it Cinderella like. They were like a Cinderella team, the way they were scoring runs, the way they were playing, like the energy of the games. No one saw that coming. Now
Well,
you bring in Soto. I think that's basically the biggest, you know,
you got the bet. New York Mets got the best free agent that was available this year.
agreed.
All right, we added it to an already good team, a team that was already two
Yeah,
games
I
shy of
mean,
a World
You,
Series.
you want to say an already good team, but I just feel like last year could have been just I don't want to call it like
Well,
they had a good season last year, but
right.
that season could have went completely different.
Of course, every team in the league season could have went different.
Yeah, but
But let me
I
tell
don't
you, when people
know.
talk about the Cinderella run, I'll tell you this: We
It could
took 2
be.
out of 3 from Milwaukee in Milwaukee. Now, people talk about game 3 about Alonso had to
Yeah,
come with the
yeah, he
heroic.
he
Yeah, listen, it was amazing. But here's the thing, we won game 1 in Milwaukee,
mhm.
and we were winning in game 2 in the 8th inning. So if anybody was Cinderella, it was Milwaukee because they were down to the last final 5 outs, and they hit I think it was a back-to-back home runs off of what's his name? The guy who looked like a deer in headlights. I forgot his name. The Mets bullpen guy. But anyway, so the Mets could have easily swept the Milwaukee Brewers. Then we go and take care of Philly in 5 games. Okay, so
Yeah, Philly did not look ready at all for the Mets.
what you saw last year was a team, the New York Mets, who are now being ran by um, a front office that knows what they are doing. David Stearns took this team. You remember last year going into the season, there was
Yeah.
question marks galore.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of movements. The Mets released more players than any other team in the major leagues last year because it was fixing on the fly. We have a GM that knows what he is doing.
The biggest difference I think from last season and this season though, the expectation level. I think no one really expected much out of the Mets last year. Let's be honest, until they started, until like maybe until halfway, until the All-Star break, and then, they had an above 500 record. They started winning games. I feel like the expectations were not high, and then all of a sudden they started believing in themselves, and they started playing like incredible baseball. They started like winning games in the last inning, coming from behind, scoring a bunch of runs.
A good team does that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it came down to, they really had nothing to lose. This year, completely different outlook. This year, a lot of expectations. And
So you think last year they surprised a lot of teams? This year
I
the
think
teams are not going to be surprised.
I think, yeah, I think
Okay.
they played very loose last year. There wasn't much expectations, people, they weren't really playing, with any weight on their shoulders. Now,
Okay.
people are looking at this team like they need to win. If they don't win this year, if they don't make the playoffs, if they don't get out the first round this year, is that a failure of a season?
Well, you know what? It's hard to answer that.
I think that there's a lot of expectation
well,
for this team.
right, and it's hard to answer that in the beginning. Listen, injuries can do wonders for a team. It can hurt a
That's
team.
true, yeah.
So do they need to make the playoffs? Yes, I believe they do need to make the play. But if they don't, what happens? You know what I mean? I mean, what are you gonna do? You have to look at who was injured. Why? I mean, if Senga's healthy, and Edwin Diaz is healthy, and Soto stays healthy, which he has in years past, and Lindor is healthy, and the main core of your team is healthy, I don't see why they don't make the playoffs this year.
I don't think they missed the playoffs. Do you think if they lose in the first round, is that a failure of a season?
I would think so. I would think
What are you
so.
expecting out of the Mets
I
this
want a
year?
deep run. I want to go back to the NLCS. I think there's only one team that's like. I think there's only one team, not just the National League, in the whole Major League Baseball,
Yeah.
that is head and shoulders better than the rest, and that's the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
And you know what? If the Mets do lose to the Dodgers, then you have to go back to the drawing board and then put together a team that can beat the Dodgers. But I think right now the Mets can give the Dodgers. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I think the Mets are one team that can run with the Dodgers right now. 100%, I believe that.
I don't really agree, to be honest. That's crazy. That's a bit crazy. You out of every team in the MLB right now, you think the Mets are the only team?
I didn't say the only. I think they have the best chance of beating the Dodgers. Absolutely, 100%. I think we have a roster that's full of. We have a lot of depth in the roster. We have a lot of young kids. We have a lot of athleticism. We have. We have. Honestly, I don't think there's a better. If you go with this lineup: Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Vientos, Nimmo. That 1 through 5 alone. You know, give me another team that has that 1 through 5 besides the Dodgers. I don't think there is another team that has that type of 1 through 5. And then when you want to look at the kids,
You don't think you're being a little overzealous on Alonso though?
listen, Alonso had 34.
Or even Nimmo.
Listen, Alonso had 34 home runs last year, And I know he batted in the low 200s with his batting average, but that was considered a down year, 34 home runs. But listen, let's not pretend that he's not a dangerous bat in the fall. He is a dangerous bat, and he
Yeah, I
proved it
mean, you
last
you
year
can't just give him
against.
a cookie because he'll hit, but
Of course.
I don't. I'm not sure.
Well, you don't see it, and that's fine. I can listen. It's this is my opinion
I
of this
think
team.
okay. I think you want to run through the lineup before we really get into it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know 100% what's going to be a lineup, but I mean, if you go number one, Lindor,
Uh-huh.
I mean, what can we say about Lindor?
Solid
Solid.
leadoff.
He's one of the best shortstops in the game
I agree.
on both sides of the field.
Very
all right?
good player. Very
We-
good player in Lindor.
We're gonna go on the 2 hole. You got Juan Soto. Here's another one. I'm gonna go wild on. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
There is not another player in New York, both New York teams, that I want at the plate in a clutch situation. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, tying run on second. Oh, they may walk him. Take the walk. Tying run at first. There's no other player on either team that I want
Oh my god.
up to bat in that situation.
I mean,
that's the
I think
truth.
everybody. I think maybe in the whole league, you might want Soto out of everyone in the whole entire league.
You have Freddie Freeman, who, I mean, forget about it.
Would you want Freeman or Soto?
I would take Freeman in the World Series.
That was a low blow.
No, I didn't mean it towards the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
saying
that
the
was a
guy,
low blow. That
but you
was a
couldn't
low
get
blow.
the guy out in the World Series.
That was bad.
Okay, I'm sorry. But I mean, 1, 2, 3. You got number 4 would be, let's say, Vientos. Look, he played 111 games last year. He had 27 home runs.
Yeah,
And-
he's definitely a young up and coming star. If he
Right.
can have a season like he did last year or even better, then I'll give you.
Yeah, I mean,
Vito.
listen, are there going to be growing pains? Maybe. But you saw a kid last year that the confidence on his face, every time he got up to bat, he was confident that he was going to drive the ball.
I'll give you your 1 through 4, but that second half of that lineup, I'm not too confident in your second half of
Okay,
your lineup.
so we have Lindor, Soto, Alonso, and Vientos. That's 1 through 4?
Yeah, we could call that.
Okay,
1
let's
through
go
4.
5, Brandon Nimmo.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled with Brandon Nimmo. I'm thrilled with Brandon Nimmo. He's not going to be the guy who hits 35 home runs, but he's going to be the guy who keeps his on-base percentage high, who can drive in a big run when needed. I'm perfectly fine with Nimmo in the 5 hole.
Yeah,
I'm
I
very happy.
agree. Nimmo's a good, he's a solid hitter,
Yeah.
solid player.
Mhm.
But
Now you want to
it's,
go
it's,
to
it's Nimmo. After him, okay, after Nimmo, I think there's a heavy decline in the lineup.
well, listen, there is. And you know what? You got second base. You have McNeil, who's injured, and you have Brett Beatty and Luis Angel Acuna fighting for a spot there. I think they're gonna alternate lefty righty, lefty pitcher, righty pitcher, and I'm 100% okay with that. One of those players has to literally claim second base.
Yeah, the starting role,
Okay.
the everyday starter.
Yes, one of those players has to claim. And my hope here, and I know McNeil. I know a lot of people like McNeil, but here's the thing: he's not going to be back by opening day. So he has Acuna and Beatty have a few weeks to really make a statement. And my hope is that one of them just goes off.
Well, I
And-
mean, Beatty's been looking
goes
crazy
on.
in spring training.
well, he's a spring training Hall of Famer, but regular season. But you never know. Maybe this the year he finds it. One of those guys have to claim that spot.
I
and
agree.
if they do, I'm okay with Beatty in the 6 hole, and I'm okay with Acuna in the 6 hole. And remember now, you got Alvarez is hurt because he probably would have been in the 6 or 7 hole. So you got Torrens. He's not really an offensive catcher. He's good behind the dish. He's good behind the plate. So I'll be okay with him in the 7 or 8 spot.
Mhm.
And then you'll have Tyrone Taylor or Jose Siri. Jose Siri is a
I don't
Gold
think I don't
Glover.
think we're scared of them at the plate.
No, but you know what? Jose Siri is okay. Here's the thing with that. Jose Siri can hit 25 home runs, and he's gonna bat 199. Give me 25 home runs. Give me Gold Glove defense and bat in the 9. Perfectly fine. Or bat in the 8 hole. Wait for Alvarez to get back. Let's see if Beatty and Acuna can figure this out. And I totally forgot about the DH role, which would be Jesse Winker
Yeah.
or Starlin Marte. You alternate them
And-
lefty righty.
I don't think we're scared of any of them.
Well, you know what? 1 through 6 better get busy then.
Yeah,
if
why
you're
not?
not scared of them. But when you look at this team, here's the thing with this team. This team was top 7 in runs scored last year
Yeah.
without Soto. I expect them to be honestly top 3 this year in runs scored.
See, and that's the problem. The expectation.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Well,
You know what happens when you expect things. You get let down, and I don't want you to get let down
how
this
about
year.
this? I'd rather go into a season expecting to win than go into a season hoping to win. And this year, the New York Mets are expected to win. This may be the best New York Met team they've had since 2007 or 5 or 2015. I can't even talk about because they didn't have a lot of offense.
What's insane about that is realistically, you added one guy. One guy, now you're expected to be the best New York Mets team in years.
Well, you added a guy he's on track to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you
added a guy.
Juan Soto is like
You added a guy.
crazy once in a lifetime type of hitter.
Put it like this: the Cleveland Guardians walked Juan Soto, intentionally walked Juan Soto to pitch to Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
That's who the New York Mets have in the 2-hole in their lineup. So if
You're going to see it now. They're going to intentionally walk Juan Soto to pitch to Pete Alonso.
and Pete got to come through. And if Pete doesn't, then you move Vientos in there. Because let me tell you something about Vientos. He lives for that moment, as was evident by the playoff series last year. Look up his playoff numbers. Vientos, he's a clutch player. He put up some terrific numbers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right now, the Mets are in the driver's seat. And they're going to have to do what they do into the trade deadline. And I have all the faith in the world. Whatever this team needs, Steve Cohen and David Stearns are going to go out there and get it. And let's not forget the young kids. Like I said, we don't know what we're going to get from them. We can get something really great from Brett Beatty or Acuna. We can get things that are really great from them. So we'll see. We want to go to the starting rotation now. So
now this is where I think this and maybe the bullpen are the 2 weakest points.
Okay.
Of this team right now.
So let's just say you were a time traveler and you came to me and said, you know who's going to start opening day for the 2025 New York Mets? And I was like, who? And you were like, Clay Holmes. I would probably be like, well, oh no, like a rebuild year or something. But you have it there. Clay Holmes is your 2025. Your 2025 opening day starter for your New York Mets. So,
yeah, he had a good spring training. He looked good, but
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know how to feel about it either because he was pitching maybe 3 innings at a time, 4 innings at a time. Did he ever go a full like game's worth? Maybe like 6, 7 innings in spring training? I don't think so.
I don't know. I can look up his numbers. But I mean, he pitched great.
He did pitch good. He had a .93 ERA for spring training, 19 innings pitched. I mean, 5 games started. He looked good. But again, the point I'm getting at is he wasn't going starter length. He wasn't going.
What's the most he went? Well, how many innings?
I think it was about 3 innings, about 3 or 4 innings.
Nah, they had to stretch him a little bit more.
Maybe in one game, but if he's gonna be a starting pitcher, he's gonna need to go maybe 6 to 7 innings.
I don't feel 6
every start.
6 is a good spot.
6. Can he give you 6 solid innings without, losing it? Because we've seen him lose it. Like we've seen him do extremely well, and then we've seen him lose it.
Yeah.
And this is not after 4 innings. This is from one inning to the next,
right?
Just lose it,
right?
And I don't know if you remember, but last year we talk about him, and you say he's doing good, but he's getting bailed out by the defense a lot, and they hit him hard.
He had a 0 ERA the first couple of months. We actually made a post about him out of the bullpen, but. Like I said, I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, would I be surprised if he gets lit up? No. Would I be surprised if he goes 6 innings of 2-hit ball, 4 strikeouts in the first game? I wouldn't be surprised either. The Mets have a way of taking these pitching projects and turning them into gold. I mean, Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, It's the truth. I mean, they know what they're doing over there. For the first time in a very long time, the New York Mets know what they are doing, and that's what happens when you buy the expensive stuff. So we're going with Clay Holmes, who seems like a project, right? So he's gonna be a project.
Definitely an experiment.
Right. Then you have Anaya, who's injured, but they're expecting him to be back by the end of April.
Yeah.
You have David Peterson. You have Tyler McGill. Who I'm not in love with McGill. You know how I feel about that. Frankie Montas, who I believe is another project, or he's your number 5 guy. Hopefully, you can get him to improve a little bit. Paul Blackburn, not happy with Griffin Cannon. Whatever.
What's your boy Kodai?
Kodai, if he stays healthy, he's going to be the ace of the staff. If Manaea can pitch like he did last year, that's a really good number 2.
Yeah, he did really well.
Really good. If David Peterson can pitch like he did last year, then you have a really strong number 3. And then you just build your 4 and 5. If Clay Holmes can pitch decent, he's your 4. If Montas comes back, or you have McGill, Montas, you have Blackburn, and you have Griffin Cannon fight for your 5 spot, or maybe go with a 6-man rotation. You know,
yeah. I mean, I still think
the weakest part of this team,
big question mark,
is the starting pitching.
Yeah, the starting 5.
But it can also be a bright spot. That's how I feel. So, and like you got the bullpen. You got Diaz. You got Jose Bruto. You got Stanek. You know, a lot of the pieces from last year.
Is Diaz going to be shaky again this year?
Well, here's the thing. I believe you got the new addition of AJ Minter. And I believe
that was a good pickup.
I believe if Edwin Diaz starts to get shaky, Minter's going to be coming out of the bullpen in the 9th. And then we'll just have to, I guess, not listen to the...
Yeah. No more trumpets.
No more Timmy trumpets.
Yeah.
So, listen, I understand the starting pitching is a question mark. I understand maybe the lineup. I'm excited to watch. I believe. Listen, mark this down, cut it, crop it, make a video of it. The New York Mets will be top 3 in baseball in runs scored, and if they're not, the Mets are gonna have some big problems. So. You heard it here first.
Top three in the whole MLB.
Mark it down. And I believe the Dodgers will be number 1.
I don't think anyone's going to argue that.
Okay.
I just don't want you to get a little, that's a little overzealous.
I'm ready to go.
I don't know.
Let's wait. You got Alvarez, who's injured. When he gets back, that'll be just another big addition. We saw what happened last year. You had Alvarez and you had J.D. Martinez. Alvarez is out. J.D. Martinez was out. He didn't start the season. They didn't play together for the first 2 months of the season. When that lineup came all together and they got back, the Mets are putting up runs. And that's what I expect this year.
There's one thing that you guys are missing this. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I know. That's your man crush, Jose Iglesias.
That dude was the heart of your team last year, and he's gone. I don't know what you guys are going to do without him.
I don't know. Maybe just sign the best hitter in baseball?
Sometimes, James, that locker room guy means a lot to a team. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
Jose Iglesias, you guys lost him. You let him walk. You know, he did his job. It wasn't like he played bad either. He played good baseball.
Listen, with runners in scoring position, he was probably one of the best hitters on the team.
He played really good baseball.
Yep.
Now, I think a lot of people are discounting his impact on the team last year. I think he brought huge energy. He brought, like you said, clutch hits, an excellent defense at second base. I think he was a big reason this team turned it around. It's almost like he uplifted their spirits. And I don't know. I think that we'll see how they do without him.
Yeah, I listen. He was a huge part. Listen, I agree with you. A huge part, but there was so many combinations of things. You had Vientos, who was emerging as a pretty good, strong.
Vientos ended up to be
hitter.
Crazy good.
Yeah, you had Sean Manaea, who was pitching from a different angle, and he was looking like a true ace. We made some moves at the deadline for some bullpen arms. It was just a lot of things that came in. Lindor had just an MVP caliber season.
Yeah, Lindor was really, really great last year.
Yeah, there were a lot of things.
I feel like he should have been talked about more, to be honest.
You got a guy who's hitting 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases.
Still, you got to talk about him. You got to show some love. But
What place he?
all jokes aside, I do think the Mets should have a good year this year.
Okay.
I'm expecting them to have a good season. I'm
Yeah.
expecting them to make the playoffs. I'm expecting them to face the Dodgers again to go to the World Series if
Yeah.
they don't face each other earlier. Um, they're gonna be an exciting team to watch this year. I'm definitely gonna watch, tune into their games, and I'm excited to watch them too. I
Yep.
want to see how Soto does. I want to see what Vientos could do this year. I want to see Lindor if he can have an amazing season again, and let's see what Pete Alonso does this
We
year.
gotta talk about that too. Lindor is being protected by Juan Soto now.
So his numbers should go up.
I mean, he should see pitches right away.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens there. But anyway, opening day for the New York Mets will be Thursday, March 27th
Yep.
at 4:10 p.m. against your friends over there in Houston, the Houston Astros at Minute Maid Park.
Hope you guys win.
Framber Valdez versus Clay Holmes.
Just hit it to left field. See
I was
about
gonna
two
say,
big. Just keep hitting it to left field.
I was gonna say the same thing. Look, so I bet you Altuve wins Gold Glove in left field this year.
That's a bold statement. I don't know.
I think it's gonna come down between Altuve and Dominguez. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Leave a comment. Leave a comment on what do you think about the Mets this year going into the 2025 season.
We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for tuning in.